Hi, my name is Emily Potter. I did my presentation on ISIS, the history, formation, and development of the terrorist group. Islam was developed through Muhammad in 622 AD. He was considered the final prophet because he was believed to have been sent from God as the last prophet to guide humanity. The disagreement of who should succeed Muhammad created a divide among the Muslims. A minority group of Muslims favored Ali, who was Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, created the branch of the Shiites, who is a split Islamic group from the original Sunnis. Abu Bakr, who was the original successor of Muhammad, was assassinated. Ali became the fourth caliph after his predecessor was assassinated, which leads to rebellion and eventually the assassination of Ali. This sparked violence and turmoil among the Sunnis and Shiites, which would continue to generations as seen today between ISIS, who were a majority of oppressed Sunni people, against a Shiite dominant government. For their beliefs, they do agree on most theological and practical matters. However, due to the disagreement of succession, there have been some religious differences between the groups. The Sunnis believe that the first four caliphs, which are religious and civil rulers of Muhammad's successors, should take his place as the leaders of Muslims. The Muslim community was to select Muhammad's successor to lead based off the caliphs. They put more emphasis on the power of God and his hand in the human fate. They also emphasized the role of religion in the public and political life, along with the Islamic law as a standard way of living. The Shiites believed that the Prophet should choose his son-in-law, Ali, to be his successor. They believed that the Imam, or Islamic leader in both politics and religion, is sinless by nature and that his authority is flawless because it comes from God. They find their leaders to be saint-like, and they often perform pilgrimages to show devotion to these saints or figures. The roots of ISIS go back to October 2006, when what is known as the Islamic State of Iraq was established. The group was mostly al-Qaeda members, but there were also other terrorist groups that joined the new terrorist cell. However, the removal of American troops from Iraq in 2011 led to the country having to solve and fight their own governmental and power issues. And this is where ISIS started to really progress. ISIS swore their allegiance to Abu al-Baghdadi after their original emir or general was killed. Abu al-Baghdadi was originally a member of the Iraqi Security Corps. The Sunni people were under oppression under the current Iraqi Prime Minister, Nouri al-Maliki. The violation of the human rights and the disrespect of agreements made between the people and the government sparked the terrorists, which in turn fueled ISIS. The Syrian war was also the turning point for ISIS due to the resources captured and the support gained. ISIS uses modern tools like social media to promote reactionary politics and religious fundamentalism. Fighters are destroying holy sites and valuable monuments that show significance, and they continue to overcome important cities and create fear out of chaos. For example, January 31st, 2015, ISIS releases a video online showing the decapitated body of journalist Kenji Yoto. Kenji Yoto is a Japanese freelance video journalist that was captured by the Islamic State after entering Syria in hopes to rescuing another Japanese hostage. They bomb mosques and threaten to bomb sporting events. They recruit gunmen to kill people at hotels or malls. These are just some of the examples of ISIS's terror and the terror that they seek to create. As they continue to expand, they will continue to take over more territory in Iraq and in Syria. They will also continue to recruit followers to carry out significant and random acts of terrorism in even the U.S. The U.S. continue to support the countries that are at risk of being taken over by ISIS, such as American troops and airstrikes. However, the threat of ISIS is continually growing and will continue to be a Middle Eastern crisis in the future due to the support and the funding that ISIS receives. As we can see, they have a lot of interconnected strength throughout Syria and Iraq, surrounding the significant cities or even having control over them, such as Baghdad or Aleppo. Capturing Syria began the recruitment for ISIS, and the resources that were captured fueled their jihadist group. They also aim their efforts at young people using internet and social media such as Twitter or Kik, which is a chatting app. Most of them are recruited to fight, but some are used to create chaos in our countries. They capture oil fields and gas fields along with power plants that are valuable resources to cities. They attacked prisons that held followers and added to their threat. They conducted bank robberies where they eventually sell the stolen goods and receive funding from governments and private sources. They use kidnapping and hostages to secure funding as well. For example, in January 20th, 2015, ISIS demands $200 million from Japan in exchange for the lives of the 2 Japanese hostages. Through all the efforts and funding received to ISIS, they have become one of the world's most brutal and dangerous jihadist groups. While it might have originally started as a religious fight and a fight for their minority rights, it has become more about power than religion. They will continue to create fear out of stability, such as creating targets in everyday common practices such as Thanksgiving Day parade, or even attacks on sporting events such as the Israeli national soccer team. As they continue to receive funding and support, our government and other governments in the Middle East continue to track their progress and try to prevent attacks. Starting to cripple their funding would eventually start to suppress their progress as a terrorist group. However, a terrorist group with this much money, support, and influence will be a long-term fight.